Hello, my true crime lovelies. How are you? Oh my goodness, you guys. I was reading the comments on the last video about the state telling Sarah to pound sand. And I just responded to one of the comments, but I actually want to read it here. So, shout out to CD Stokes, one for the super. Is it a super sticker when it's in the comments? I think it's a super sticker that you sent. But your name is perfect, CD Stokes, because this comment stoked my brain. I'm gonna read it so everybody's on the same page. Actually, let me just show it. I think I can do that. Then we can all see it together. Channel comments. Okay, does that show for you guys? It does. Let me make it wider. So I'm in the YouTube studio, so this is what it looks like backstage, if you will. And I just sort it by the ones I haven't responded to so I can answer you guys. All right. So CD Stokes said, let's ponder this. Which of these tragic scenarios could George's death be an accident, or she is the victim? When she left the living room and went upstairs to her room, was she sitting upstairs and she could still hear George pleading with her to let him out, not even knowing he was alone? Right? Because he may not have heard her go up the stairs, slowly suffocating. Did she wait until he went silent to go upstairs? Surely he was faking and going to pop out and attack her, right? She thought he could get out, according to her. However, if you weren't certain, or if you were, why wouldn't you even open it just a little bit, even to be sure, right? So, even if you were certain, why not open it just a little bit? He's saying he can't breathe. He's begging, for his life. He's saying, please, why not just crack it a little bit and actually get eyes on him, right? Obviously, she didn't say this part, but I'm talking it through with you guys. It is not accidental if you had an opportunity to mitigate a risk and choose to not take it. That is negligence. That sentence resonated with me. Part of my day job is mitigating risk. And if you have an opportunity to mitigate a risk and choose not to take it, it is 1,000% negligent. So that's all it is. It's pure negligence. It is not an act of fear or physical harm if you are not in any danger. A confined person who can't breathe is certainly not what I consider a threat to my physical body. And then I responded to her, I'm with you. She's had 4 years to come up with a cohesive defense. Her wet brain should be dried out at least a bit. It doesn't make sense. If I felt my life was in imminent danger by my partner that I locked in a suitcase to make him squirm, I would not go upstairs, leaving him in the suitcase thinking he could get out. Why? Wouldn't he get out and remove me from the planet, possibly while I slept? Right? Who goes to sleep when you're in imminent danger, or when you fear you're in imminent danger? When I was little, I was a latchkey kid. When I would come home, do you guys know, is that still a thing? Like, I had my house key latched, like, safety pin inside of my shirt, and I had to go home and let myself in. I would search through the whole house. Like, I would not even sit down. I would take a butcher knife from the kitchen, go through every under the beds, and pull the shower curtain back, every single closet. Did I know if anybody was in there? No, but I certainly felt like I'm gonna get you before you get me. This woman claims her life was in imminent danger, and she goes upstairs and goes to sleep, which doesn't make sense. Okay, let me go to my next one. Let's go back further, before he even got in the suitcase. If I had an abusive partner, would I be foolish enough to zip him in a suitcase, even if he thought it was funny? then not only refuse to let him out, but laugh at him and tell him to shut the F up after he tells me he can't breathe. If she was afraid, then got him in a suitcase, why not call the police? She was never shy about calling them before. Why go to sleep and feign confusion after waking up to find him dead? I fell asleep. I don't know what happened. What did she expect to wake up to? Clearly, not her abusive partner standing over her, willing to take her life. Otherwise, she wouldn't have fallen asleep. So that's what I just think that's a fallacy. And then additionally, let me find you guys again because I just thought of something else. Additionally, the I'm in the bed. You guys can see all my stuff in the break room. She called Brian at 11:46 that night, right? So we know the videos were taken between the first half hour of 11. I can't remember, but I know one was earlier in the 11s. It was all before 11:30, let me say it like that. And then 11:46, so presumably she took those videos and then she went upstairs and called Brian. If you are in fear for your life, why not say, Brian, or why don't you have a code word, right? Because Brian knows both of you have been arrested and going at it for the entirety of your relationship. You call him and you don't say, listen, I'm afraid for my life. I got George in a suitcase and I don't know what to do next. Should I call the police? Can you come over here? Because she had no problem calling him the next day saying, can you come over here? So there were things that she could have done to help herself, right? If she were not, it just doesn't make sense to me. If she were in fear of her life, why didn't she try to help herself? Why did she go to sleep? And then, they were having a good day. She can't get drunk. She likes to have, she doesn't like to be non-compos mentis. She can't get drunk. So it just, I, here's what I think though. And I was working on another video. I was looking at this comment. I'm doing the James Owen interviews, like not a collab, but you know what I mean, a compilation. Maybe Mr. Owens is going through all the motions, not because he thinks that they have legs, they have a possibility of like moving the judge to rule in their favor, but maybe to show Sarah, and I've said this before, like show Sarah that it's not going to fly by having the judge say no instead of him saying no, right? So he doesn't have to be the bad guy. He's going to do exactly as she asked, the legal version of it, right? Like putting it into proper format, etc., a pleading paper, yada yada. And then obviously it's going to get denied, but then he can go back to Sarah because some of you guys pointed out early on, he has a reputation for making deals, plea deals. And whatever that heated argument they had when the officer wrote it up and went in there and was like, everybody can hear you, what's going on? I'm believing that was the argument about the plea, right? Because then he said later he wasn't going to see her again. So I just think he's like, I've got to show her. He's trying to save her life, whether I like him as a human being. He's on my list for bringing up the Torres family and trying to re-victimize them. He's on my short list, but I do think he's good for her. I think that he is trying to save her life because obviously by her behavior, she doesn't realize that she's looking, or she doesn't believe that she could actually get life without the possibility of parole, even though it clearly says it on all the documents, punishable by life without parole. So they could just LWOP her. And I think he's so my belief is in this process, he's trying to show her that's not gonna work, that's not gonna work, that's not gonna work. So then it can be put to bed. Cause Sarah is like a dog with a bone. You tell her no, and she's gonna come back to the left and come back to the right. What about this? What about that? So he's gonna let it all play out. Judge will say no, and then he probably feels like he has more teeth to get her to agree than to a plea deal, because then maybe 20 years is not looking as bad as life. I mean, she's 46, she would be 66, right? I don't know if that's total justice for George's family. I would say no, but I believe that's what he is doing. And I know we have had different thoughts about this. Like, if she were a Black person, nobody probably would have stepped up. I don't disagree with that. I mean, he saw someone who has his daughter's name, looks like someone he's related to, up against something that she had no idea what she was getting into. So I don't fault him for that. I hope ever if somebody who is skin folk for me and sees me headed in the wrong direction, they come and get me. I don't fault him for that. But I do believe he's trying to save her life, and he's trying to talk her off the ledge, because there's no way he believes that she thought she was in imminent danger. Oh my God, that's like hearsay upon hearsay upon hearsay. But you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. Like, a logical person, it doesn't make sense. Maybe if you've been drinking for X amount of years, that makes sense. But I mean, am I thinking of it? Am I missing something, guys? Let me know in the comment. Is there something else in there that maybe it makes sense? Like, am I being too logical? Let me know. You guys always have great insight. Let's crowdsource this answer, because, girl, if you don't take a plea and put the Torres family, let them get this behind them and put it to bed, and don't drag them through a whole trial about how you're the victim, like, just don't do it. Don't do it. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Toodles. Thanks for hanging out with me. Oh, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Some of you guys have been coming back frequently, and you finally subscribed today, and I appreciate you if you made it this far. If you haven't subscribed, hopefully, I can win you over soon.